The Strange Love of Martha Ivers from 1946 was a captivating crime drama starring Barbara Stanwyck, Van Heflin, and Kirk Douglas. As always, thanks to my friend Florida Greg for this suggestion. You know, it's been a while since I've watched and reviewed a Barbara Stanwyck film, and this one was great. Unexpected in a lot of ways, and really enjoyed it. So I'll summarize the film and then offer some closing thoughts. Well, the film opens up, it's 1928, and we're in Iverstown, and we have these two kids, Sam and Martha, played here by Daryl Hickman and Janice Wilson, and they're on the run, and they're hiding out in a train car. Now, they have plans to just run off together when some authorities find them and try to grab them. Now, Sam makes a run for it and gets away, but Martha is caught, and she's brought back to her aunt, this Mrs. Ivers character. She is this stern old woman, played by actress Judith Anderson. I've seen her before in films like Hitchcock's Rebecca, but I also remember her most notably as the Vulcan High Priestess that brought Mr. Spock back to life in Star Trek III. It's kind of cool to see her again. She meets with the character Walter, played by actor Mickey Kunn, and Walter's dad, actor Roman Bonin, and we establish that basically she is this very wealthy, very powerful matron, and Walter's dad just sort of cowers around her. Well, a defiant Martha is brought back to Mrs. Ivers, who proceeds to tell her off for running away, and when she sasses back to her, well, she gets a slap. You know, Mrs. Ivers isn't someone who puts up with that kind of behavior. Well, Martha's sent back to her room to change, and it's here that she talks to the character Walter, who claims innocence about, he didn't tell her where she was and so on, and at this point, Sam sneaks in, saying that he plans to run away again. Well, Martha wants to go too, but at this moment, her cat abruptly runs off, and she tells Sam, quick, go and get him before Mrs. Ivers finds the cat. Well, too late, Mrs. Ivers hears the noise, proceeds to go up the stairs. She finds the cat and starts swinging at her with the cane. I mean, oh, come on, that's low, Mrs. Ivers. But Marcia arrives, sees her swinging at her cat, and clubs her and sends her tumbling down the stairs. At this point, Walter's father arrives and discovers Mrs. Ivers' body on the stairs. Now, he didn't see what happened here, so Martha, on the spot, makes up the story that they just found Mrs. Ivers like that, and someone had broken in and attacked her. The front door was still open at this point, so Walter kind of reluctantly goes along with it. Walter's dad checks the body, determines, yeah, she's dead, and basically tells Martha, look, leave the cane where it was. And, at this point, we're not really sure if Walter's dad completely believes her or not, but it seems like he's going to go along with it. And so the police are called. Walter's dad tells Martha that they'll take care of her from this point on. So that pretty much ends the sequence of the early years from the 1920s. And now the movie jumps ahead to the 1940s. And we see this car that's headed into town, and we've got a grown-up Sam, who's now played by actor Van Heflin, who I've seen in other films like 3:10 to Yuma, as well as a sailor character who's asleep next to him. Curiously enough, it was played very briefly by actor and director Blake Edwards, the guy who directed the Pink Panther films. It's kind of a cool little cameo. Sam's talking about visiting his hometown, and Sam, keep your eyes on the road, buddy.
End of the line, sailor. Come on, wake up.
Where are we?
In a small accident.
What happened?
The road curved, but I didn't. Come on, I've got to put into Iverstown for repairs.
Next time, I pick me a guy that don't fall asleep.
Well, the car crashes, so Sam has to bring his car to a shop to get looked at. And while he's there, Sam happens to catch exposition radio and hears that his old childhood acquaintance, Walter, won't be able to make a political speech that night, but that his wife will instead. Now, since Walter is not well, his wife speaks on the radio for him, and we hear Martha's voice, and it's the voice of Barbara Stanwyck. Sam recognizes these names from his childhood and gets a little bit more exposition from the shop owner, and we discover that Martha has basically acquired the Ivers fortune. Well, Sam strolls into town and passes by the character Tony, who is leaving her rental place. She's played by the lovely actress Elizabeth Scott, who honestly I don't think I've seen before in a film, but I thought she was great here. I thought she had kind of a sultry Lauren Bacall vibe to her, especially her voice. Well, anyhow, he stops and he has a smoke, talks with her, wants to know, some of the background of the names of some people in town, and she seems interested in him. But she soon leaves to catch a cab in order to go get her train. But on the way, she sees him again and offers him a ride. And hey, the cab is driven by Tom Fadden from Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's a great film. I got to watch that one again. All right, anyhow, Tony really seems interested in Sam, and the two continue their dialogue. They stop for some smokes and booze and share their stories about their rotten alcoholic fathers. Great conversational material. The two do really have some nice chemistry in the film, though. So we cut over to Barbara Stanwyck's character, Martha, arriving home on a rainy night. And as my three fans know, Barbara Stanwyck is one of my favorite actresses ever, and she's great in this movie, but more on that in a little bit. She finds Walter, played here by Kirk Douglas, who is another great actor I really admire. I caught him recently in the review I did of Out of the Past, and this is actually his first movie in Hollywood. And he's there, he's sleeping in a drunken state, and she just kind of looks at him with disgust. So the situation here is that he is the local district attorney, and he's married to Martha, and she has used her inheritance to expand the Ivers milling empire. And we can see that just through their interaction, they really have a one-sided marriage. I mean, he loves her, we can see that, but she really doesn't think much about him. Walter drinks because he's still living with that guilt of the killing of Mrs. Ivers from long ago, and how it turns out another man was blamed for that murder, one who was actually innocent of the particular crime. Now, Martha consoles him about it, saying that, the guy that was killed was actually a criminal. He would have been killed eventually, and she's really cold-blooded here at this point. But Walter, it's still weighing heavy on him, and he seems just resigned to just drink away his guilt.
Walter, listen to me. What's done is done.
The deed's done, not the thought.
You've got a life to live.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
A brilliant career.
My father always said that.
Your father was right.
He was never right about anything. From the day he walked in and found your aunt on the floor.
I told you I never want that mentioned.
The day he sat beside you in the courtroom. As I, the public prosecutor, demanded that the state take the life of a man for the brutal murder of Mrs. Ivers. And my father said nothing. I looked at him, but he said nothing.
Your father was a realistic man.
My father, may he rest in peace, was a greedy man.
The man they executed was a criminal. If he hadn't hanged for that, he would have hanged for something else.
A man was a man, and justice is justice. That's the way it is. I can't get up and speak before people. The words stick in my throat. I'd rather get drunk. I do get drunk. I did get drunk.
So we cut back over to Sam and Tony. Now they're getting a hotel room to stay at. Hey, that's pretty spicy for 1946, but they're separate rooms. Rooms 25 and 23. Phew, that was a close one. Well, later, they talk, and here, she springs the fact that she's just out of jail. It's kind of weighing on her, but he doesn't seem to mind. He's going to be heading out of town the next day, once his car is fixed, and he offers that she can come with him. And he leaves her with a Bible to read, then heads out for a shower, and when he returns, he finds her asleep. And as he covers her up with a blanket, there's some very nice music here. Now again, my three fans know that I love pointing out good film music, and this is really a nice scene with music by legendary composer Miklos Rozas. And since the film's in the public domain, you know what? Here's the entire scene. So the next day, two tough-looking dudes show up to meet with Sam and ask him questions about Tony. And she is eventually picked up for parole violation. So they all leave, and Sam sees Walter's face in the newspaper, and realizing that he's the DA in town, he's probably got some clout, so he goes to look for him to ask a favor, see about getting Tony released. Anyhow, he meets with Walter. They laugh a little and catch up, and Sam shares the favor that he needs, and Walter agrees to it, for old time's sake. Now, it's around here that Martha shows up, and once she recognizes Sam, she's thrilled, but oh, look at that look of disgust on Walter's face. Sam leaves, and Walter and Martha both seem uncomfortable. He'll never tell, they say, remembering that he too was part of that murder long, long ago, and the situation is that Walter and Martha suspect Sam has just showed up in town as some sort of a blackmail scheme. And when Martha leaves, Walter goes to work with his own fiendish scheme. Sam gets a message to meet with Martha and heads to her place. They meet in the library, and she kind of takes him around the house, including going up that same creepy old staircase where long ago Mrs. Ivers had been clubbed on the head. Martha seems to have kind of a simmering romantic interest in Sam from long ago, but Sam just wants to roll out of town soon, once Tony can get out of lockup. Martha asks for a kiss, for old time's sake, and he just kind of keeps his resolve and leaves. There's not really a lot of fiery romance there. Martha, meanwhile, calls the car place and has them delay their work on Sam's car. Now when Walter finds out about this, he seems bothered. By the way, as you're kind of following my narration, you're thinking, maybe this is kind of soapy, and yeah, there was a little bit of a melodrama to this one, but I still enjoyed it because it's infused with enough crime elements that it kept me going. So just kind of keep going with me on this. It does pick up a little bit. He meets with Tony and agrees to help her avoid a 5-year sentence if she will help Walter and do a favor for him. So a little bit later, Sam picks up Tony at the jail. She's freed, and he's happy to see her, but she seems kind of cold and distant. Now, we the viewer don't know exactly at this point what kind of bargain she made with Walter. She and Sam go out for dinner, and Tony still kind of remains distant while Sam happily eats his spaghetti. But soon a guy shows up, angry at Sam, and tells him out of the blue that Tony is his wife. Sam is shocked, but he tells him, "Brother, you can have her, in spades." But we, the viewer, can tell that this seems like a fishy situation that Walter character has devised. Sam goes outside to beat up this guy because, that's what you do in old crime films. But he ends up getting jumped by a bunch of tough guys, beaten up, and taken out of town. Somehow in the bustle of being beaten up and fighting, he had managed to grab a private investigator badge from one of the guys. Yeah, he's starting to put things together. He flags down a bus to head back to town. Now, a sensible person at this point would have just kind of patched themselves up and just gotten out of town, but not Sam. Now, you don't do that in old crime films like this. We know better. He's going to figure out what's going on and he's going to get revenge. He manages to locate Tony. She's about to board a bus and he corners her and finds out that everything was a big setup by Walter. And he's starting to put it all together. So Sam sends Tony out of town to meet up with her later. Then he goes to confront Walter. And as he goes in for this face-off with him, we see that sneaky Walter reaching for a gun. But come on, man, you know better. Sam discovers on Walter's desk there's this detailed file on himself, that Walter has run. So he stirs him awake in order to chat with him. Around this time, Martha shows up, and both she and Walter, they're suspecting Sam is there for blackmail. Now, he wasn't initially. We, the viewers, know he just wanted to be with Tony, clear her name, and then get out of town. But Sam kind of sees what's going on, and then he suddenly seems interested in this idea. He leaves, and Martha patches up Walter's hand. But he's cold here, revealing that he knows that Martha called that auto shop just to keep Sam around. Now, Sam, meanwhile, leaves and visits with Tony, and they catch up over some food. The talk of Marcia makes Tony visibly jealous, but Sam's got a bigger plan here. He goes to look through the newspaper records, and hey, it's Olin Howland from the Blob. I love it. But it's here that he learns more about this Mrs. Ivers murder trial that took place and more about the details of the events that happened. It's starting to come together a little bit more why this might be weighing on Walter and Martha. Well, Sam heads back to his room and talks all romantically with Tony, and she had been in town doing some shopping, and she shows off her new outfit when Martha arrives. Listen to that jarring music.
Look at it.
$8.95. How do you like it?
With you in it?
Hello, Sam.
Tony,
Yes, Sam? I heard you talking.
well, even a crummy hotel like this has a switchboard.
I have special privileges in this hotel, Sam. I own it.
Well, Sam agrees to go and have dinner with Martha and go dancing with her as well. And honestly, I wasn't really sure what Sam's play is at this point. I figure he should just get out of town, but whatever. He and Martha leave, and they go to this remote spot to look over the city lights, and stop at a campfire. And there's definitely a rekindling of their past romance here. And after a brief moment of tension, they embrace and kiss. It's an awkward, resistant smooch at first, but oh, Sam, you cad, this is not good. I guess the idea here is that Sam, still feeling betrayed by Tony, maybe decided to rekindle this old romance. But even though that betrayal wasn't really Tony's fault, in any case, the character of Sam is conflicted with his feelings here. Martha drives him back, and Tony sees from the window as he gives her a very passionate goodbye kiss. And oh, she doesn't look happy about that. And be careful, one of those cigarettes might catch those curtains on fire. Well, Sam goes to talk to Tony. And again, he's all conflicted. He's not sure what to do. And yeah, Sam, you're a jerk to break her heart like this, because here's poor Tony, tears in her eyes. She believed in you. The betrayal wasn't her fault. And this is how you're going to act to her? Well, as we near the last few minutes of the film, I'm going to wrap up the review here. But basically, Tony is ready to leave, and Sam is going to have a final confrontation with Walter and Martha. And will we, the viewers, see what happens in this bizarre love triangle? Will Sam let go of his old strange love of Martha Ivers? Will Walter bring down Sam? Will Sam reunite with Tony? Well, you'll have to check out the end for yourself. No spoilers. But it was quite a humdinger of a conclusion to this film.
Why did you call me?
Got a riddle, Sam. Maybe you can help me solve it. It's a little riddle called What's to be Done About Me, Martha, and You. Sounds just like a poem. If it rhymed, it would rhyme with murder.
So some closing thoughts here. The Strange Love of Martha Ivers came out in 1946. It was produced by Paramount, but from what I've read, it's since lapsed into the public domain. So that lets me use generous footage without the dreaded copyright claim from YouTube. You know what? I'm probably going to get one anyway. It was directed by Louis Milestone from a screenplay by Robert Rosen based on the short story Love Lies Bleeding by John Patrick. It was produced by Hal Wallace, and the story is that Wallace ran into Humphrey Bogart and his wife Lauren Bacall, who recommended that he check out a play featuring a friend of theirs, Kirk Douglas. He had not been in Hollywood yet. This was Kirk Douglas's introduction to the big screen, because Wallace was so impressed he brought him back to Hollywood. And it's kind of neat to see his first film here. Now, as far as the film go, I thought it was an enjoyable bit of noir, though it did veer a little heavy at times into melodrama, in a way that I felt kind of threw off the pace a little bit. I mean, honestly, the first 15 minutes of the film is all backstory in the 1920s, and Barbara Stanwyck doesn't even appear in this film until about 30 minutes in. So, yeah, there's a lot of drama. It can be a little challenging to follow all of the motivations of these characters, but all in all, I still enjoyed the film. Particularly enjoyed Van Heflin's character in this film. I've seen him previously in films like 3:10 to Yuma, in which he was more of a serious Western cowboy character. So this was a cool change to see him here as this edgy gambler just drifting into town. His romance with Elizabeth Scott was nicely done, and I don't think I've seen her previously in other films, but I really enjoyed her acting here in this film. And the connection that she had with Van Heflin's Sam, I thought was very nicely done. Part of me in watching this just wanted to see the two of them clear out of town together as soon as they could. They had a nice thing started, and it almost felt like, you know, once she had done her bit to clear her name with Walter the DA, they should have just left then and there. But then the film would have been over a lot faster, I guess. Now, my three fans know by now that Barbara Stanwyck is probably my favorite actress ever, regardless of the film role that she's in. I always find her just captivating and believable. And here she plays this wealthy heiress who's just trying to sway Sam away romantically. And I couldn't help but pick up a Double Indemnity vibe, which is another excellent crime film. She was in that one as well, as a bored, wealthy woman who was capable of murderous ways. You'll see a lot of the similarities in the two films. And in any case, I just love watching how she can so seamlessly transform from this sensual character, just using her words and mannerisms, to a completely cold, manipulative deception. She's an amazing actress, and just to watch her transformations on the screen is always amazing. I've yet to be disappointed by any of her films. And of course, Kirk Douglas was excellent here as this powerful DA character who is more than able to use his power and clout to get things done legally. You know, and also to get Sam beaten up. But at the same time, we see him as this weak and emasculated character in terms of his relationship with Martha. It's really a great balance. In any case, that's The Strangelove of Martha Ivers from 1946. I thought this was an excellent film, and it's worth checking out. Then he and Martha leave. They drove off to this